My beloved one, hear this carefully, because this message did not arrive by accident, and it is not for everyone. There is a narrow window open right now, and Archangel Michael is standing at the edge of it, urging you to listen before it closes. What you are about to hear connects directly to the title placed before you, and the meaning runs far deeper than the surface words suggest. You saw the name Elon Musk, and your spirit stirred. That is not random. Archangel Michael says this is not merely about a person, a billionaire, or a public figure. This is about recognition, summoning, and alignment. The name represents influence, vision, and the ability to shift systems. And heaven is revealing that you are being drawn into a conversation that changes how you see your role in this world. Archangel Michael steps forward now and says, "My beloved child, you have been noticed for reasons you do not fully understand yet. Not because you are loud, not because you chase attention, but because you carry a way of thinking, a perspective, a solution that others cannot replicate." This meeting energy is symbolic before it is physical. It begins in the spirit before it ever manifests in the natural. Right now, many are talking, building, posting, competing. But you have been quietly observing, learning, refining. Archangel Michael says that those who work in silence often receive the loudest invitations. And this is why the message feels urgent. The door does not stay open forever. There is something specific that he wants to discuss. And no, it is not small talk. It is not casual curiosity. It is not admiration. Archangel Michael reveals that the discussion is about what you see that others overlook. A pattern, a flaw, a future path. Something connected to innovation, direction, or a structuring that has been forming inside you for a long time. You may have doubted yourself recently. You may have wondered if your ideas were too big, too strange, too unrealistic. But Archangel Michael says heaven often plants visions in people long before the world is ready to validate them. And when the time comes, the call feels sudden, almost shocking, like this one. Listen closely. His message is also a warning. Archangel Michael says distractions are intensifying around you because something important is approaching. Small delays, missed signals, moments where you almost ignore the nudge to act. That is why the title says, "Open quickly." Not out of fear, but out of readiness. This is not about rushing blindly. It is about responding intentionally. There is a frequency you are being asked to tune into. Conversations you must take seriously now. Thoughts you must stop dismissing. Archangel Michael says, what feels like imagination is actually preparation. The reason this meeting energy exists is because your mind operates differently. You connect dots faster. You ask questions others avoid. You sense outcomes before they arrive. And let me be clear, this is not limited to technology or business. This applies to whatever field you are called into. Influence recognizes influence, even across different realms. Archangel Michael says heaven uses earthly symbols so you can understand spiritual movement. Right now, something is being evaluated, not by humans alone, but by the spiritual realm. How you respond in this season determines whether the conversation moves forward or passes to someone else. And yes, that may sound intense, but Archangel Michael does not speak casually when purpose is at stake. You may feel unqualified. You may feel unprepared. But those feelings are not disqualifiers. They are signs that you are stepping beyond what you already know. Archangel Michael says, courage is not the absence of fear, it is obedience in spite of it. Pay attention to what has been coming into your awareness lately. Articles, IDs, names, opportunities, even random thoughts that seem out of place. Nothing is random right now. The spiritual and natural are aligning faster than you expect. This is also a moment of refinement. Archangel Michael urges you to examine your motives. Are you seeking validation, or are you ready to serve something larger than yourself? Because the discussion ahead is not about ego. It is about responsibility. Influence always comes with weight. The reason this message feels personal is because it is. Many will hear it, but only a few will recognize themselves in it. If your heart is beating faster right now, if something inside you is saying, "This is for me," that is confirmation, not coincidence. Archangel Michael stands firm and declares, you are being called into a higher conversation, one that requires clarity, integrity, and vision. This is not the season to shrink back. This is the season to prepare your mind, your words, and your spirit. Do not underestimate what a single meeting, a single discussion, a single moment of courage can unlock. History shifts quietly before it shifts loudly, and you are closer to that turning point than you realize. Stay grounded, stay alert, and above all, stay open. My chosen one, now that your spirit is awake, Archangel Michael draws you deeper into the meaning behind this moment. What you sensed earlier was only the surface. There is a reason this message continues unfolding, because revelation does not come all at once. It comes in layers, so your heart can carry it without fear. Archangel Michael says the request to meet you represents validation of your inner knowing. For a long time, you have trusted instincts that others question. You have felt led in directions that did not make sense on paper. And yet, time after time, you were proven right. This is because you were never relying on logic alone. You were being guided. The discussion that is approaching you is not accidental. Archangel Michael reveals that certain individuals are searching for answers they cannot find within their usual circles. They have reached the edge of their understanding. When that happens, heaven introduces them to voices that operate from wisdom, not noise. You are one of those voices. You may not see yourself as extraordinary, and that humility is part of why you are trusted. Archangel Michael says pride closes doors, but humility invites access. The reason your path has felt slower than others is because depth takes time. You were being trained to see consequences before decisions are made. Right now, there is a shift happening in how power recognizes value. Influence is no longer impressed by volume alone. It is searching for clarity, stability, and foresight. Archangel Michael says, those who can see 10 steps ahead are being called forward. And you have always been someone who thinks beyond the immediate moment. This is also why resistance has followed you. Not everything you faced was opposition from people. Some of it was pressure designed to refine your discernment. You learned when to speak and when to stay silent, when to act and when to wait. Those lessons were not wasted. They are preparation for the conversation ahead. Understand this clearly. The meeting energy is not about being impressed by status. Archangel Michael says it is about exchange. You are not going to receive alone. You are going to contribute. There is something you carry that balances ambition with responsibility, vision with restraint, speed with wisdom. Heaven is emphasizing timing right now. You are being asked to sharpen your awareness, to listen more carefully, to choose your words with intention. Archangel Michael warns that casual thinking in this season could cause missed opportunities. What feels like an ordinary decision may have long-term impact. At the same time, do not fall into pressure. Fear does not come from God. Archangel Michael says, peace is your compass. If something pulls you forward with clarity, it is aligned. If something rushes you with anxiety, pause. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be. There is also a call to stewardship. Influence grows only where character can sustain it. Archangel Michael urges you to examine how you handle responsibility in small things, how you treat people who cannot give you anything back, how you respond when no one is watching. These are the measures being observed now. You might notice conversations shifting around you, people asking for your opinion more often, doors opening without you forcing them. These are subtle confirmations. Do not dismiss them. Archangel Michael says signs increase when alignment is near. This is where many scroll away, thinking the message has already given all it can give. But stay with this moment. What comes next builds on what you already received, and the clarity ahead will surprise you more than the revelation behind you. Before you go further, let me say this directly to you, from the heart of this mission. If this message is resonating, if it feels like it is speaking into your life, let your engagement reflect that. When you like this video, when you share it, when you leave a comment, you are not just supporting content. You are helping this message reach someone who is waiting for confirmation. Subscribe so you stay connected to what is being released here, and help build this space where truth and clarity are spoken consistently. Archangel Michael says unity strengthens impact. When people come together around a message of purpose, the reach multiplies. This is how voices rise, not by shouting, but by agreement. And hold on, because what you are about to hear next will connect everything you have felt but never had words for. My precious one, Archangel Michael now brings you into the deeper layer of this revelation, where meaning settles into purpose. What you are experiencing is not excitement alone. It is recognition in the spirit. The reason this message keeps unfolding is because your life is standing at the intersection of preparation and permission. Archangel Michael says there are moments when heaven allows certain names, faces, and symbols to cross your path so you can understand the scale of what is coming. The name you heard represents access to rooms where decisions are made that affect millions. But the truth is, the invitation is not about proximity to power. It is about alignment with responsibility. You have carried a burden for things others ignore. You think about impact, consequences, and long-term outcomes when others are satisfied with short-term wins. This has often made you feel different, even isolated. But Archangel Michael reveals that this difference is the very reason you are being drawn forward. Systems do not change through noise. They change through insight. Here is something you have been refining internally. A framework, a way of thinking, a solution that balances innovation with ethics. You may have shared pieces of it with a few people, only to feel misunderstood. That was not rejection. That was protection. Archangel Michael says some ideas must mature in silence before they are introduced to influence. Understand this clearly. The meeting energy is not about impressing anyone. It is about trust. Trust is given to those who have proven they can hold truth without distortion. Archangel Michael says heaven has watched how you respond when given small authority, small platforms, small responsibilities. Faithfulness there has unlocked visibility here. You are also being warned gently. Archangel Michael cautions against shrinking yourself to fit familiar spaces. Comfort can become a cage if you cling to it too tightly. This season requires expansion of thought, courage in speech, and confidence rooted not in ego, but in calling. You may feel the weight of expectation rising. That is natural. But do not confuse weight with fear. Archangel Michael says, what feels heavy is only unfamiliar strength. You are growing into a version of yourself that requires new discipline, new boundaries, and clearer priorities. There is also a purification happening. Old doubts, old labels, old limitations are being stripped away. You cannot enter new rooms carrying outdated beliefs about yourself. Archangel Michael urges you to let go of the narrative that says you must prove your worth. You were already measured, and you were already chosen. Pay attention to how your words carry more impact now. How people pause when you speak. How your silence itself communicates depth. These are signs that your authority is no longer hidden. An authority, when recognized, invites conversation. This is why the title feels urgent. Not because you are late, but because discernment is required. Archangel Michael says not every door that opens is meant to be walked through, but some doors close if you hesitate too long. Wisdom is knowing the difference. What you are stepping into will require integrity even when it costs you something. It will require you to speak truth even when it is inconvenient. But Archangel Michael assures you that provision follows obedience. You will not be asked to carry what you are not equipped to sustain. Take this moment seriously, but not fearfully. Let it ground you. Let it sharpen you. Let it remind you that your life has always been moving toward more than survival. It has been moving toward influence with purpose. Archangel Michael stands now and releases this declaration over you. You are trusted with insight because you have been faithful with truth. Receive that. Let it settle. Let it steady you. Type "I receive the call" in the comments if this message is confirming what your spirit already knew. Blessing code 947 has just been released. And hear this before you move on. This message is not traveling by chance. It is being carried to those who are ready to respond. When you support this work through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, link in the description, you are not funding a channel. You are fueling a mission. I am speaking directly to you now, because your obedience in this moment becomes light for someone still in darkness. God says, as you sow into this ground, I will open rivers where you expected drought. This act of support is prophetic, not optional, and it accelerates the reach of truth to souls who are waiting. I bless every giver with clarity, protection, and increase. Release your seed now and take your place in what God is building. My beloved child, Archangel Michael speaks again, not with urgency this time, but with precision. This part of the message is meant to steady you, because momentum without grounding can become confusion. What is unfolding in your life now requires balance, and heaven is helping you establish it. You are entering a phase where clarity will matter more than speed. Archangel Michael says that many people mistake acceleration for progress, but true advancement is measured by alignment. You are being positioned carefully, step by step, so nothing collapses under the weight of what is coming. What feels slow is actually deliberate protection. There has been a quiet recalibration happening inside you. Your values are sharpening. Your tolerance for shallow conversations, empty ambition, and misaligned partnerships is decreasing. This is not arrogance. This is discernment maturing. Archangel Michael explains that when purpose draws near, distractions lose their appeal. You may notice that certain doors you once desired no longer excite you. Certain goals that once motivated you now feel incomplete. This is because your assignment is evolving. Heaven is not removing your ambition. It is refining it. You are being prepared to influence outcomes, not just participate in them. Archangel Michael also addresses your past here. There were moments when you felt overlooked, underestimated, or delayed. At the time, it felt unfair. But now you can see that those seasons taught you patience, resilience, and emotional control. You learned how to function without applause. That lesson alone separates leaders from performers. What is coming next in your life will test your ability to remain anchored in truth while navigating environments filled with pressure. Archangel Michael says, "Those who know who they are cannot be easily swayed." This is why your identity has been strengthened quietly, away from public validation. You are also being reminded to guard your inner circle. As visibility increases, access becomes a privilege, not a right. Not everyone who celebrates your rise understands your responsibility. Archangel Michael urges you to listen carefully, observe consistently, and trust discernment over charm. This season will bring conversations that stretch your thinking, ideas that challenge your comfort zone, opportunities that require courage rather than certainty. Do not reject them out of fear, but also do not accept them without prayerful consideration. Balance is your safeguard now. There is something else Archangel Michael wants you to understand. Influence is not always loud. Sometimes it is a well-timed word. Sometimes it is a decision made quietly that redirects an entire outcome. You are being trained to recognize the power of subtlety. You may feel a growing sense of responsibility, almost like an internal weight reminding you to stay focused. That is not pressure from the world. That is awareness awakening. Archangel Michael says awareness is the doorway to wisdom. You are becoming more conscious of how your actions ripple outward. Do not underestimate your presence. You carry stability into unstable environments. You bring order where there is confusion. That is why people feel calmer around you, even if they cannot explain why. This is part of your assignment, and it will be needed more than ever. There will be moments ahead where silence is required, even when you have the right words. Archangel Michael says restraint is a form of strength. Speak when clarity demands it, not when emotion pushes it. This discipline will protect your credibility and preserve your influence. As this message continues, remember that nothing you are stepping into is beyond you. You have been equipped over time, layer by layer. Every delay, every detour, every lesson has contributed to your readiness. Heaven does not waste experience. Archangel Michael leaves you with this reassurance: you are not walking into uncertainty. You are walking into responsibility, and you will not walk alone. Let that truth settle deeply. Let it anchor you as the path ahead becomes clearer. What you have been sensing is real. What you are being prepared for is intentional. And what comes next will require you to trust the work already done within you. My chosen one, Archangel Michael draws closer now, because what is being revealed in this moment touches the core of your calling. Up until now, much of your preparation have been internal. Thoughts reshaped, motives purified, vision clarified. But this part speaks about transition, the movement from hidden refinement into visible responsibility. You may feel as though your life has been divided into chapters, with each one ending abruptly before the next fully begins. Archangel Michael says this hath been intentional. You were never meant to cling to old seasons. You were trained to release, reset, and realign quickly. This flexibility is one of your greatest strengths, even though it once felt like instability. There is a shift happening in how you perceive risk. Things that once seemed too big now feel necessary. Things that once felt safe now feel limiting. This is not recklessness, it is maturity. Archangel Michael explains that courage evolves. In early seasons, courage is trying. In later seasons, courage is choosing correctly. You are beginning to understand that influence is not about visibility alone. It is about trust. Trust is built through consistency, integrity, and the ability to remain grounded under pressure. You have demonstrated these qualities in environments where no one was watching. That is why you are being considered now. Here is also a call to responsibility over your thoughts. Archangel Michael warns that self-doubt, if left unchecked, can quietly sabotage progress. Not because you lack ability, but because doubt fragments focus. You are being asked to speak to yourself with the same clarity and authority that you offer others. Pay attention to how often your instincts prove accurate, how your discernment saves you time, energy, and emotional cost. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Archangel Michael says your discernment is becoming sharper because it hath been tested repeatedly. Tested discernment becomes wisdom. You may also notice that people are projecting expectations onto you. Some will assume you have answers you have not yet spoken. Others will resist your presence because it exposes gaps they preferred to ignore. Neither reaction is your responsibility to manage. Your role is to remain aligned, not approved. The season requires emotional regulation. Archangel Michael says strong emotions do not disqualify you, but unmanaged emotions can distract you. You are learning to respond rather than react. This skill will protect you in rooms where pressure is subtle but constant. There is something significant about how you handle silence. Silence no longer feels empty to you. It feels informative. In quiet moments, you receive clarity that noise would drown out. Archangel Michael says this is because you have learned to listen beyond words. This ability will serve you well in complex conversations ahead. Do not rush clarity. Some things reveal themselves only when you stop forcing outcomes. Archangel Michael reminds you that patience is not passivity. It is disciplined trust. You are allowed to wait without guilt when waiting is wisdom. You may feel a growing sense of separation from certain relationships, habits, or routines. This is not abandonment. This is alignment. When purpose becomes clearer, misalignment becomes uncomfortable. Archangel Michael says discomfort is often the signal that growth is underway. There is also joy returning to you, though it may feel quieter than before. It is not the excitement of novelty, but the peace of direction. You are beginning to trust yourself again. That trust hath been rebuilt carefully after seasons where confidence was tested. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something vital here. You are not being shaped to impress. You are being shaped to steward. Stewardship requires restraint, humility, and the willingness to think beyond personal gain. You carry these traits more naturally than you realize. As you move forward, you will be asked to articulate what you believe clearly and calmly. Your words will carry weight, not because of volume, but because of conviction. Speak truth without embellishment. Simplicity will amplify your authority. There is nothing accidental about where you stand now. You have crossed thresholds you once prayed for, even if they look different than expected. Archangel Michael assures you that fulfillment often arrives disguised as responsibility. Let this part anchor you. You are not behind. You are not unprepared. You are not overlooked. You are transitioning, quietly, deliberately, and with heaven's guidance. And as this journey continues, you will begin to see how everything that once felt scattered has been aligning all along. My beloved one, Archangel Michael speaks with steady authority now, because you are approaching a phase where awareness must turn into intentional action. Not hurried action, not reactive movement, but conscious steps guided by wisdom. What you have learned so far has built your inner foundation. This part addresses how you begin to carry yourself differently in the world. You may have noticed that situations no longer affect you the way they once did. Things that used to trigger emotional responses now pass through you with less disturbance. This is not because you care less. It is because you see more. Archangel Michael says emotional mastery is one of the clearest signs of spiritual maturity. You are no longer controlled by every wave. You are learning how to navigate them. There is also a strengthening happening in your decision-making. You hesitate less, not because you are reckless, but because clarity has replaced confusion. You are beginning to trust your judgment again. This trust was rebuilt slowly, after seasons where mistakes made you question yourself. Archangel Michael says those mistakes were instructors, not verdicts. You are stepping into environments where words carry consequences, where opinions influence outcomes, where silence itself communicates position. This is why discernment is so critical now. Archangel Michael urges you to listen fully before responding, to observe patterns rather than isolated moments. You are being trained to think in systems, not snapshots. Some people around you may sense this change and feel unsettled. Your calm presence exposes instability in others. Your clarity highlights areas they have avoided. This may lead to subtle resistance, misinterpretation, or distance. Do not internalize it. Archangel Michael says not everyone can walk with you into the next season, and that is not failure. You are also learning how to protect your energy without hardening your heart. Boundaries no longer feel like walls. They feel like wisdom. You give access thoughtfully now. You understand that availability is a resource, and resources must be stewarded. There is an increase in responsibility coming, and with it, a need for discipline. Archangel Michael speaks plainly here. Distraction is the enemy of refinement. Not all distractions are obvious. Some come disguised as opportunities. You must weigh what you say yes to, because every yes shapes your focus. You may feel moments of internal pressure, a sense that you must stay alert. This is not anxiety. It is awareness sharpening. Archangel Michael says, when purpose draws near, the spirit becomes more sensitive. Pay attention to that sensitivity without letting it overwhelm you. You are also being invited to refine how you communicate. Precision matters now. What you say, how you say it, and when you say it all carry weight. You are being prepared to speak in rooms where clarity is rare and confusion is costly. Your role will be to bring order through understanding. Let me pause here and speak directly to you as part of this journey. If this message is helping you see yourself more clearly, engage with it. When you like this video, you signal that this word matters. When you share it, you help it reach someone who may be standing at a similar crossroads. Leave a comment to anchor what you are receiving, and subscribe so you stay connected to what continues to unfold here. These actions are not small. They strengthen the reach of truth. Archangel Michael also reminds you not to neglect rest. Strength is sustained through balance. Overextension dulls discernment. You are not meant to carry everything at once. Pace yourself. Wisdom grows best when the mind is clear. You may notice that your prayers are changing. They are less about asking for direction and more about asking for alignment. This is growth. You trust that direction is already present, and now you seek the ability to walk it well. There is something else important here. You are learning that influence does not require constant explanation. Not everyone needs to understand you. Some will recognize you through outcomes rather than introductions. Archangel Michael says let results speak where words are unnecessary. As you move forward, remain teachable. Confidence and humility must coexist. You do not know everything, and that awareness keeps you open to learning. Heaven favors those who stay curious, not those who assume they have arrived. Hold on to this moment. What is coming next will connect your internal transformation with external movement in a way you did not expect. Stay present with this message, because the clarity ahead will bring everything into sharper focus. My dear one, Archangel Michael now shifts the tone of this message, because what you are entering requires not only strength, but self-awareness at a deeper level. You are no longer in a season of becoming. You are in a season of revealing. And revelation always tests what has been built in private. You may feel a subtle tension between who you were and who you are becoming. This tension is not confusion. It is transition. Archangel Michael says identity does not change overnight. It expands. You are learning how to hold more responsibility without losing yourself in it. That balance will define your success more than talent ever could. There is an increasing demand on your attention now. More voices, more input, more opinions. Archangel Michael warns that discernment must guide what you absorb. Not every perspective deserves equal weight. You must learn to filter without becoming closed, to listen without surrendering clarity. This is a skill that leaders develop through experience, not theory. You are also being invited to confront subtle fears you have avoided naming. Not fear of failure, but fear of visibility. Fear of being fully seen, fully known, fully accountable. Archangel Michael says exposure reveals both strength and weakness, and humility allows growth without shame. You do not need to be flawless to be effective. Notice how your internal dialogue has begun to change. You are less harsh with yourself, less reactive to setbacks, more reflective. This is not complacency, it is wisdom forming. You are learning to assess situations without attaching your worth to the outcome. That emotional separation gives you freedom. Here is something powerful about the way you now approach challenges. You no longer rush to fix everything. You pause. You assess. You ask better questions. Archangel Michael says the quality of your questions has improved, and that is a sign of maturity. Those who ask the right questions shape the future. You may feel moments of loneliness in this season, even when surrounded by people. That loneliness is not abandonment. It is differentiation. You are thinking at a depth that fewer people are comfortable exploring. Archangel Michael reminds you that solitude often accompanies clarity. Do not rush to fill it with noise. There is also a call to integrity at a higher level. Small compromises that once felt harmless now feel heavy. This is not restriction. It is refinement. Archangel Michael says when influence increases, tolerance for misalignment decreases. You are becoming more sensitive because the margin for error is narrowing. You are being trusted with nuance. Not everything is black and white anymore. You see complexity, layers, unintended consequences. This can feel burdensome at times, but it is also what qualifies you to contribute meaningfully. Simplistic thinking cannot carry complex responsibility. Pay attention to how you handle disagreement. You no longer feel the need to win every conversation. You value understanding over dominance. This shift is significant. Archangel Michael says true authority does not argue loudly. It stands calmly. Your confidence is becoming quieter and stronger at the same time. There may be moments when you question whether the path you are on is worth the cost. When progress feels slower than expected. When recognition does not arrive when you think it should. In those moments, Archangel Michael urges you to remember why you began. Purpose must outlast applause. You are also learning to release outcomes you cannot control. Not formality, but from trust. You do your part with excellence. Then you step back. This posture protects you from burnout and disappointment. Archangel Michael says surrender is not weakness. It is strategic trust. Something important is happening in how you perceive time. You are less rushed, less frantic, more intentional. You understand that timing shapes impact. Being early can be as costly as being late. You are learning to move when alignment confirms readiness. There is also an invitation here to cultivate gratitude, not for comfort, but for clarity. Even difficult lessons have sharpened your discernment. Even delays have strengthened your patience. Archangel Michael says nothing in your journey has been wasted. As you continue forward, you will notice that your presence itself carries authority. You do not need to announce who you are becoming. It will be recognized through consistency, restraint, and wisdom. Influence grows quietly before it becomes visible. Archangel Michael leaves you with this truth to carry. You are not losing parts of yourself as you grow. You are integrating them. Every experience, every lesson, every challenge is being woven into a stronger foundation. Stay steady. Stay observant. Stay aligned. What unfolds next will require exactly the depth you have been developing, even when you did not know why. My faithful one, Archangel Michael now steps forward with a message that carries both comfort and gravity, because you are entering a moment where choice becomes central. Not dramatic choices that announce themselves loudly, but quiet decisions that shape direction over time. Heaven is paying close attention to what you choose when no one is pressuring you. You may feel an increased awareness of consequences lately. Not in a fearful way, but in a thoughtful one. You are beginning to sense how small decisions ripple outward. Archangel Michael says this awareness is a sign that your influence is expanding. When responsibility grows, foresight grows with it. There is something important about restraint being developed in you. You are learning that you do not need to respond to everything. You do not need to correct every misunderstanding. You do not need to prove every truth you carry. Silence, when guided by wisdom, can protect momentum. Archangel Michael reminds you that power is often preserved by what is withheld, not what is displayed. This season is also teaching you discernment between urgency and importance. Many things will compete for your attention, but few deserve your focus. Archangel Michael urges you to prioritize what aligns with long-term impact over immediate satisfaction. What feels pressing is not always what is purposeful. You may notice that your emotional landscape has become calmer, even when circumstances remain complex. This is not numbness. It is stability. You are no longer easily shaken because your identity is not tied to outcomes alone. Archangel Michael says stability attracts trust, and trust attracts opportunity. There is also an invitation to humility at a higher level. Not humility that diminishes you, but humility that keeps you teachable. You are entering rooms where learning never stops, where curiosity matters more than credentials, where listening can be more valuable than speaking. Carry yourself as a student, even when you are respected as a contributor. You are also being refined in how you handle success. Small wins no longer intoxicate you. Recognition no longer defines you. This is essential, because unchecked success can be as dangerous as failure. Archangel Michael says those who remain grounded in success are the ones entrusted with more. Pay attention to how your values are being tested subtly. Not through obvious temptation, but through convenience. Shortcuts that promise speed. Compromises that seem harmless. Archangel Michael warns that integrity is preserved in small decisions, not dramatic ones. Stay consistent. There is something sacred about your consistency. Showing up when it is inconvenient. Doing what is right when it goes unnoticed. Maintaining excellence without external reward. These qualities are being recorded, even when they are not applauded. Heaven measures differently than the world. You may feel moments where progress seems invisible, where effort does not immediately translate into results. Archangel Michael says visibility often lags behind preparation. Do not interpret silence as stagnation. Seeds grow underground before they break the surface. This is also a season of alignment in relationships. Some connections will deepen naturally, grounded in mutual respect and shared values. Others will fade without conflict. Let this happen without resistance. Alignment does not require explanation. It requires acceptance. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something deeply here. You are not late. You are not missing anything. You are exactly where clarity can meet responsibility. The pace of your journey hath been intentional, protecting you from burdens you were not yet ready to carry. As you continue forward, you will notice a growing sense of inner authority. Not arrogance, not dominance, but certainty. You know why you are doing what you are doing. That clarity will guide you when external guidance is limited. Take this moment to acknowledge how far you have come. Not in comparison to others, but in comparison to who you once were. Growth deserves recognition, even when it feels incomplete. Archangel Michael says gratitude anchors progress. Now receive this activation with intention. I stand in alignment in the comments if this message is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 2846 is now released over your discernment, your decisions, and your future. And listen closely as I speak directly into this moment. This word you are receiving does not exist to stop with you. I am speaking to you because God is inviting you to become a carrier of light for others. When you release support through super thanks, through membership, or through PayPal in the description, you are sowing into soil that multiplies clarity in confused lives. Scripture declares that when seed is released, harvest is commanded, and I declare that heaven responds to obedience swiftly. This is not a donation. It is a prophetic response to what you have heard. I bless every giver with divine protection, strategic wisdom, and increase that flows beyond expectation. Act now and align your seed with what God is unfolding in this very hour. My beloved one, Archangel Michael speaks with a calm certainty now, because this stage of your journey is about integration. Everything you have learned, endured, and refined is beginning to come together in a way that finally makes sense. What once felt fragmented is aligning, and you are starting to recognize the pattern that was forming all along. There is a quiet confidence emerging within you. Not the kind that seeks validation, but the kind that rests in understanding. You are no longer asking who you are becoming. You are beginning to live from that place naturally. Archangel Michael says this is the shift from preparation to embodiment. You are not rehearsing purpose anymore. You are carrying it. You may notice that challenges now affect you differently. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you assess them with curiosity. You ask what they are teaching rather than why they are happening. This change in perspective is powerful. It transforms obstacles into information, and information into strategy. Archangel Michael says wisdom grows when emotion stops clouding interpretation. There is also a growing awareness of your influence on others. Words you speak linger longer. Decisions you make inspire imitation. Even your restraint communicates leadership. This can feel heavy at times, but it is also a sign of trust. Influence is given to those who can carry it without abusing it. You are learning how to stand firm without becoming rigid. Flexibility no longer threatens your identity. You can adapt without compromising values. This balance is rare, and Archangel Michael highlights it as one of your defining strengths. Those who can remain grounded while adjusting to change are the ones who endure. You may feel a subtle release from old pressures. Expectations that once felt suffocating no longer hold the same power over you. You have outgrown certain fears, not by fighting them, but by understanding them. Archangel Michael says understanding dissolves fear more effectively than resistance ever could. There is something important happening in how you relate to time. You are less concerned with racing toward milestones and more focused on sustainability. You understand that longevity matters more than speed. This perspective protects you from burnout and preserves clarity over the long term. You are also becoming more selective with your energy. Not out of selfishness, but out of stewardship. You recognize that attention is finite. Where you place it shapes what grows. Archangel Michael urges you to invest your focus where it produces alignment, not just activity. Notice how your sense of purpose is no longer tied to a single outcome. You are not dependent on one role, one title, or one opportunity. This flexibility makes you resilient. When purpose is rooted in identity rather than position, nothing external can destabilize it. There may still be moments of uncertainty ahead. That is part of any meaningful journey. But those moments will not shake you the way they once did. You have learned how to pause, reflect, and respond rather than react. Archangel Michael says this measured response is evidence of maturity. You are also learning to appreciate simplicity. Not everything needs to be complex to be impactful. Sometimes the most powerful actions are the most straightforward ones, executed with consistency and integrity. You are shedding the need to overcomplicate what is already clear. There is an increasing sense of alignment between your inner world and your outer actions. You are becoming more congruent. What you believe, what you say, and what you do are beginning to match more closely. This congruence creates credibility, both with others and within yourself. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that stability is not stagnation. You can be grounded and still evolving. Growth does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like steadiness, reliability, and depth. These qualities build trust over time. You may notice that you are less reactive to praise and criticism alike. Neither defines you anymore. You receive feedback thoughtfully, extracting what is useful and releasing what is not. This emotional balance gives you freedom to move forward without distraction. There is also a quiet joy returning to your life. Not excitement fueled by anticipation, but contentment rooted in direction. You know where you are headed, even if the full picture is still unfolding. That knowing brings peace. As this part settles, Archangel Michael reminds you that integration takes patience. Allow yourself to grow into this new level without rushing it. Let habits form naturally. Let confidence deepen gradually. You are not meant to force this process. You are standing in a space of quiet strength now. Not because everything is easy, but because you are capable. You have been shaped for this season through experiences that once felt unrelated. Now you see how they connect. Carry this awareness forward. What comes next will require the steadiness you have developed. And you will meet it not as someone striving to become, but as someone who already is. My chosen one, Archangel Michael speaks now with a firm and steady presence, because this stage of your journey is about positioning. Not positioning yourself in front of people, but positioning your spirit, your mindset, and your priorities so you can stand correctly when the moment requires it. What you are learning now will determine how you handle what comes next. You may feel a heightened sense of alertness lately, as if something is approaching but has not fully arrived. This is not anxiety. This is anticipation guided by discernment. Archangel Michael says when alignment nears completion, the spirit becomes attentive. You are sensing readiness, not danger. There is a refining happening in how you use your voice. You are more intentional. You speak less, but when you do, your words carry clarity. You no longer feel the need to fill silence. You understand that silence can be strategic. This restraint protects you from unnecessary conflict and preserves your authority. You are also learning how to manage expectation, both your own and those placed on you by others. You no longer promise what you cannot sustain. You no longer chase approval to validate your direction. Archangel Michael says this maturity allows trust to form naturally, without manipulation or performance. There is a noticeable shift in how you handle pressure. Situations that once would have unsettled you now feel manageable, not because they are smaller, but because you are stronger. You have learned how to compartmentalize, how to focus on what matters most, and how to release what you cannot control. This season also requires discernment in relationships. Not everyone who has access to you understands your assignment. Some connections are seasonal, not permanent. Archangel Michael urges you to honor what was without forcing it to continue beyond its purpose. Let transitions happen with grace. You may notice that your patience has deepened. You are less reactive to delays, less frustrated by process. You understand now that timing is part of strategy. Rushing can undermine what careful alignment would protect. Archangel Michael says patience is often the final test before expansion. There is also a call to consistency, not dramatic effort, but steady discipline. Showing up regularly, refining your craft, strengthening your habits. These quiet actions are building a structure that can support greater responsibility. You are laying groundwork others will benefit from later. Your sense of self-worth is becoming more stable. It is no longer tied to daily outcomes or external validation. This stability frees you to take risks without fear of losing yourself. Archangel Michael says, when identity is secure, courage becomes sustainable. Pay attention to how you now respond to criticism. You listen without defensiveness. You evaluate without internalizing everything. This balanced response allows you to grow without being shaken. You are learning to extract insight while maintaining confidence. There is also an increased awareness of stewardship. You understand that what you are given, time, influence, insight, must be managed wisely. Waste feels uncomfortable to you now. You desire efficiency, not for productivity alone, but for impact. Archangel Michael says this awareness is a sign of readiness. Let me pause here and speak directly to you. If this message is helping you see your path more clearly, engage with it. Like this video so the message can reach further. Share it with someone who may be standing at a similar threshold. Leave a comment to affirm what is resonating within you, and subscribe so you remain connected to what continues to be released here. These simple actions strengthen the reach of this word and help build a space where clarity is consistently shared. And stay with this moment. What is coming next ties everything together in a way you may not expect. There is a connection about to be revealed that brings deeper understanding to why this journey has unfolded the way it has. Trust me, you will want to receive what comes after this. Archangel Michael also reminds you to guard against complacency. Confidence must not turn into assumption. Stay curious. Stay teachable. Growth continues even when momentum stabilizes. You are not finished learning. You are learning at a higher level. You may feel a renewed sense of responsibility for your choices. This is healthy. Responsibility is not burden when carried with wisdom. It becomes purpose. You are learning to make decisions that consider not only immediate outcomes, but long-term consequences. There is clarity forming around what matters most to you. Your priorities are rearranging themselves naturally. What once demanded attention now feels secondary. What once felt distant now feels central. This reordering is preparing you for focused movement. Archangel Michael assures you that nothing unfolding now is accidental. You are being positioned carefully, intentionally, and with foresight. Every adjustment, every lesson, every pause has served a purpose. Hold steady here. You are closer than you think, and what is about to be revealed will make the waiting, the refining, and the discipline feel worthwhile. My beloved one, Archangel Michael now speaks with a quiet intensity, because this stage of your journey is about confirmation. Not the loud kind that demands attention, but the deep inner knowing that settles when truth aligns with experience. You are beginning to recognize that what once felt uncertain had been steadily moving toward clarity all along. There is a sense of resolve forming within you. Not stubbornness, but steadiness. You are less easily swayed by opinions, trends, or external pressure. This does not mean you have stopped listening. It means you have learned how to weigh what you hear without surrendering your direction. Archangel Michael says discernment matures when you stop outsourcing your conviction. You may notice that the questions you ask now are different. You are no longer asking if something will work, but whether it is worth sustaining. You are thinking in terms of longevity, impact, and alignment. This shift signals that your mindset has moved beyond experimentation into stewardship. There is also a deeper peace settling into your decisions. Even when outcomes are unclear, you feel grounded in the choice you make. That peace is not emotional comfort, it is spiritual alignment. Archangel Michael says when peace accompanies uncertainty, it means you are walking by wisdom, not impulse. You are also becoming more aware of your internal boundaries. You know when to engage and when to step back. You recognize when a situation requires your input and when it requires your restraint. This self-awareness protects you from unnecessary entanglement and preserves your energy for what truly matters. This season may bring moments where others misunderstand your silence or misinterpret your patience as hesitation. Do not rush to correct them. Archangel Michael reminds you that not everyone needs an explanation for your obedience. Some things are clarified by time, not words. You are learning how to remain present without becoming reactive. When challenges arise, you do not immediately personalize them. You assess context. You consider perspective. You respond with intention. This emotional regulation is a strength that has been cultivated through experience, not theory. There is also an increasing clarity around what you will no longer tolerate. Not out of bitterness, but out of respect for your assignment. You are becoming selective about where you invest your effort, your trust, and your creativity. Archangel Michael says selectivity is not rejection. It is focus. You may feel moments of reflection where you look back and realize how much has changed within you. Reactions that no longer happen. Fears that no longer dominate. Patterns that no longer repeat. These are signs of transformation that often go unnoticed until you pause long enough to see them. There is a refinement in your humility as well. You are confident without being dismissive, open without being naive, strong without being rigid. This balance allows you to navigate complexity without losing compassion. Archangel Michael says compassion anchored in wisdom is powerful. You are also learning how to hold responsibility without carrying guilt. You understand that you can do your best and still encounter limitations. This understanding frees you from unrealistic expectations and allows you to lead with clarity rather than pressure. Pay attention to how your intuition has become more consistent. You are not guessing as often. You are sensing alignment with greater accuracy. This consistency is the result of trust built through obedience. Archangel Michael says when you honor guidance repeatedly, guidance becomes clearer. There may still be unanswered questions ahead. That is part of any meaningful path. But those questions no longer unsettle you. You are comfortable not having immediate resolution because you trust the process that has brought you this far. You are also beginning to recognize your role in a larger picture, not in a way that inflates ego, but in a way that deepens responsibility. You understand that your actions ripple outward, influencing environments and people beyond your immediate awareness. This understanding shapes how you move. There is a growing alignment between your inner convictions and your external actions. You are less divided internally. Decisions feel cleaner. Direction feels steadier. This internal unity strengthens your ability to move forward without hesitation. Archangel Michael wants you to know that you are not standing at the edge of something fragile. You are standing on a foundation that has been tested. Every lesson, every delay, every refinement has reinforced that foundation. You are not guessing anymore. You are grounded. You may sense that something is about to be sealed, not revealed. A conclusion rather than a beginning. A confirmation rather than a question. This sealing brings closure to old uncertainty and prepares you to step fully into what has been forming. As this part settles, allow yourself to acknowledge the growth that has taken place, not with pride but with gratitude. Growth recognized becomes growth sustained. Archangel Michael leaves you with this truth to carry forward. You do not need to rush the next step. When the moment arrives, you will recognize it not by noise, but by peace. Remain steady. Remain attentive. The final movement of this message will bring everything into alignment and speak directly to what comes next. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now stands with finality and compassion because this message reaches its moment of completion. Not an ending of purpose, but the sealing of understanding. What has been unfolding through every word was never meant to overwhelm you. It was meant to align you. And now, alignment has reached maturity. You are no longer searching for signs the way you once did. You recognize them naturally. Discernment has become instinct. What once required effort now flows with clarity. Archangel Michael says this is what happens when preparation meets readiness. The noise fades and direction remains. There is a deep sense of resolve within you now. Not urgency, not prayer, but certainty. You know what matters. You know what does not. You know what you are willing to carry forward and what must remain behind. This knowing did not come quickly. It was formed through experience, patience, and obedience. You may feel a quiet release taking place. Old questions dissolving. Old tensions loosening their grip. This is not forgetfulness, it is closure. Archangel Michael says closure is a gift that allows the future to arrive unburdened by the past. You are being granted that gift now. There is also a calling to step fully into ownership of your role. No more minimizing. No more waiting for permission that has already been given. Archangel Michael declares that you are accountable now not just for what you avoid, but for what you are capable of doing. You are being trusted with influence because you have learned restraint. You are being given clarity because you honored confusion without rushing it. You are being positioned because you remained faithful even when outcomes were uncertain. This trust was earned quietly, consistently, and truthfully. As you move forward, understand this. You will not have all the answers at once, but you will have enough clarity for each step. Archangel Michael says heaven reveals direction progressively so humility and dependence remain intact. Walk step by step, not leap by leap. There will be moments when you look back and realize how far you have come. Not just externally, but internally. You will recognize strength where insecurity once lived. Peace where anxiety once ruled. Wisdom where confusion once lingered. These are not accidents. They are evidence of transformation. You are also being reminded that your journey is not isolated. Others will benefit from your obedience, your restraint, your insight. Even when you do not see the immediate impact, your alignment creates pathways for others to find clarity. This is how purpose multiplies. Archangel Michael speaks this assurance over you now. You are not stepping into the unknown. You are stepping into what you were prepared for. Carry that truth with you when decisions feel weighty and responsibility feels real. Let this message settle as confirmation, not pressure. You are not required to rush forward. You are required to remain aligned. Movement will come naturally when alignment is honored. Now receive this final activation. Type "I walk in confirmation" in the comments if this message has aligned with your spirit. Blessing code 6391 is now released over your obedience, your clarity, and your next season. And hear me clearly as this journey concludes. This message was not given to be contained. It was given to be carried. I am speaking to you directly because God is asking you to partner with this work. When you release support through Super Thanks, through membership, or through PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into living ground. The word says that seed placed in good soil produces a harvest beyond measure. And I declare that as you give, heaven responds with open doors and multiplied clarity. This is not generosity alone. It is obedience activated. I bless every giver with protection, increase, and discernment that sharpens with every step. Do not delay what your spirit already recognizes. Release your seed now and step fully into what God has confirmed.